Okay, so this is video 98. I have several ideas about what to talk about. So, I started listening to the great teacher courses on Algebra 1 and some general mathematics. In the general mathematics course, let me check very quickly. Okay, let's go to what's this? Okay, I'll just check course, and course. That's kind of strange because somewhere I met this word like cause. Maybe it was spelled differently. Cause. Okay.
Cause.
Yeah, I see the difference. Yeah, cause, which is spelled like C-A-U-S-E-A-U. That's why it is pronounced cause, and it's the reason of some event, for example. The cause of, let's say, the cause of the Titanic sinking was the crash with the iceberg. But course, which is spelled like C-O-U-R-S-E, course, it's this series of lessons, lectures. So I am listening to Algebra 1 course and some general mathematics course, and the teachers speak about some very general knowledge, and of course I know this stuff because, if I'm not mistaken, I was taught this particular basics somewhere in the 5th grade in my math classes. So it's kind of strange for me to hear that these professors in some universities, they teach their students such basics, because I thought that everyone should know these basics from the elementary school and from the middle school. But maybe in America there is such practice, like people can drop out of their school, or they can't get the necessary education in the middle and elementary school, but when they got some money, then can go into these university courses where the professors teach them all the stuff they need about the school mathematics, and it will be quite fast and without too much water, when they just learn the necessary essentials, formulas, ideas, like all the stuff is connected. Not like we were taught mathematics during, let's say, 5-7 years, and there is no connection between what was taught in the beginning, in the 5th grade, to the stuff which was taught in the 11th grade. But when these adult students go through the university courses on mathematics, on algebra, they got in 1 year all of the stuff of the condensed information of all these 7 years without much repetition, solving the same stuff over and over again. But because they are already adult and they pay for these courses, they can actually understand and learn what they need for their lives, not just the stuff that you need to learn just to go through the school or through the university to pass your exams and then completely forget what you were taught about. Anyway, these courses gave me some ideas what I can do with my English, because right now I do more improvisations. I have some thoughts and I just express these thoughts, and it really helps me, or it has helped me to improve my English up to date, but up to now. But I can do more. This is what I almost tried to do in the beginning, before I was able to speak English freely. I tried to learn by heart this stuff and then repeat it word by word, but it was not the practice of my English spoken skills. It was the practice of my memorization, and that's why I failed. But right now, when I have some basics in English, when I can express almost every idea, sometimes with quite particular words, sometimes using only basic words like the definitions in this English learner dictionaries, or the kids like at the 5 or 6, 7 years old. So for me right now, it's like I can learn at least the proper names, some facts, and then I can retell them if I recall what is in the text. I can use the same words, but if I don't, I can just use anything from my own vocabulary, but mentioning the main names, events, dates, and so on. So these guys, for example, this algebra guy, he spent lots of time going through this simple for me, like linear equation, ax plus b, or y equals y equals ax plus b. First, of course, he went through very simple, the simplest equation with one unknown, x, and it was something like ax equals b. Then it was ax plus b equals c, or ax plus b equals c. And he taught his students and me how to isolate this x, how to move it to the let's say, the left part of the equation. So in the end, for example, ax plus b equals c. In some general case, it will look like x equals c minus b, okay, denominator, and another word I want to use it, so let's check it. Fraction, nominator and denominator, or something like that. Fraction, common fraction. Let's check it. A division of a number, for example, 5/8 or 5/8. Rational number, common fraction, proper fraction. What is common fraction? Math and measurements. Okay, let's check this. A denominator. Okay, we have denominator, numerator. The number below the line in a fraction is a denominator. And I believe that numerator is the number above the line in the fraction.
Numerator.
So yeah, I remember now. Of course, I skipped the first. I skipped maybe the first lection, maybe even the second lection, because in the beginning he just gave the common knowledge on numbers, on fractions. Yeah, I started with this third lecture on fractions and the decimals. And my interest was not the math behind it, but the vocabulary behind this math. The vocabulary which is used to describe this math. For example, 5/8 or 5/8 is the same fraction. Yeah, we just use different I don't know words to describe the same stuff. 5 is a numerator and 8 is a denominator. So let's return back to this equation with one unknown, x, and for the equation ax plus b equals c, the general solution will be like x equals c minus b in the numerator and a in the denominator, or in other words, c minus b and this part over a. Yeah, and with this formula it is possible to solve any equation with one unknown, and then he introduced more complex equations with one unknown, something like that. Minus -5x plus 7x plus 3 equals 4. The difficulty of this equation is two places where we can see x. So again, if to do the basic math and do this subtraction, then we can get only one member maybe of this equation with x, and then all the normal ordinary numbers as the other member of this equation, and again we can isolate x and get the solution. And later he introduced more complex equations of one unknown, which were like let's say some coefficient multiply times something in the parentheses, like again this 7 minus 4x and equals, and we can have the same stuff, or just 7x minus 4 on the right part of the equal sign. Another discovery for me was how he pronounced negative numbers, not like minus 5x. It is possible to say this, but it's more preferable to say negative 5. Negative 5 because minus is more like the sign for the subtraction operation between two members of the equation. Let's check this one. Statement showing that two amounts of values are equal, for example, to x plus y. The equation, the number on the right hand side of the equation. So I can't really say what is the right thing, like a member or just I don't know. Let's see, member, and it will be, that's all right for me. Okay. And then this guy introduced this guy. What did he does? Okay. Later, this professor introduced a linear equation y equals ax plus b, and I don't remember the particular details, but at one point he introduced the Cartesian coordinates, Cartesian plane, and Cartesian coordinates, and we spent some time drawing these lines on this plane, and he showed that in the equation y equals ax plus b, a is a slope of this line, which represents the graphical, not the solution, but the graphical, let's say it represents the graphical representation of this. Yeah, so basically this equation is a function where y changes depending on x. So x axis x axis and y axis create this plane, and each equation with y, each function, each equation with y and x can be represented as a line on this plane with a as a slope of this line, the angle between the x-axis and the line itself. So if a is positive, the slope is how can I describe this? We have the acute angle between the line and the x-axis in the direction from the left to the right. If a coefficient is negative, then this angle is obtuse. For later, for some lections, we were solving the tasks of constructing these lines based on the slope and some dot and the coordinates of one point. Yeah, so there are two main applications, or there are two main types of tasks which involve this function or equation, and they are building this line in the Cartesian plane using two dots, two points, the coordinates of 2 points, or the coordinate of 1 point and the value of a slope. Later he introduced the system of two linear equations, and the idea behind this system of equations was to find the solution, which is some pair of x and some pair of values for x and y. And if we take this pair of values and put them in the original system, both of these equations will become true. And in the what's this? In the geometrical sense of this solution, two lines, two lines cross. Two lines cross, or they have the intersection, and this point of crossing, the coordinate of this point of crossing, is the solution. Sometimes when these two lines are parallel, there is no solution for the system of two linear equations, but most of the time there is a solution. And I think after that he switched to inequalities, and the solution of inequality in the graphical sense, if we have something like x less than 3, we have this one axis of axis of x's, like many x values, and we just highlight, we do this circle around 3 on this axis, because we don't include 3 in our solution, and then we just highlight all the line from this circle back into the negative, so to the left, into the negative part of the numbers. And on the Cartesian plane, for the solutions of some linear inequality, I think, like x, like y, y greater than, let's say, 4x plus 3. We need to draw the solution for the equation first, y equals 4x plus 3, as a line, and then as a dotted line, yeah, because we don't include this into the solution because we have a strict sign greater than, and then all all the area above this line will be the solution, because all the pairs of x's and y's on the Cartesian plane in the area above this line will be the solution for this inequality. So yeah, and that's where I stopped with him in this course, and the next lecture will be about the quadratic equation ax squared plus plus bx plus c equals 0. Yeah. Okay. And now I'm going to go through the vocabulary for some units from the Navigate course book, as I usually do, and as I did last time. So this is unit 8. I'm going through the words, and I'll just check what words I can pronounce correctly or I can't really use in the example of some sentences. Prosthetics. Okay, sometimes when a person was cut, or sometimes when the person has his leg cut off, his leg can be replaced by a prosthetics. A fraction, yeah, a fraction, not in the meaning of the mathematical fraction like 5/8, but something like very small amount of something, particle, sponge, bob, square, pants, absorbent. The sponge is a good, absorbent. I'm not sure about whether this is a noun. A sponge is a good absorbent. All in all. Okay, of course I have this some help in this notebook, like some translations in Russian or synonyms or something. So all in all, all well what ends well. All in all is well what ends well. Equal arts, doesn't matter. Festival, just people go to, in the Middle Ages, the people from the surrounding villages went to the city to participate in the festival. Make for a great weekend away. Okay, it's just the phrase which means that you can go away somewhere in the different country and spend your weekend there. All things considered, like all things considered, he's a good guy. So after all the facts were collected and then they were considered, we decided that he is a good guy. Yeah, all the facts, yes. He is bound to, after all this practice, he's bound to pass his exam. Yeah. Fleece clothing, that's an interesting stuff. I met the word fleece in different books, but without the context and just looking at the picture, I thought that it was the clothes made from the ram hair, from the sheep hair. Well, that's true, but fleece clothes in British English means some outwear, some coat or jacket made of artificial, like plastic, artificial material, and it is called fleece clothing. Biodegradable, which, okay, some bags in the supermarkets are made biodegradable, not just plastic. Break off, what does this mean? Suddenly stop talking. Okay, I don't know. He broke or she broke. Okay, he broke off a conversation when he heard that his wife returned home. Catch on, become popular. Catch on. Well, I don't remember this particular phrase. Catch on. Next, clip. Yeah, clip. This use this plastic clip and attach your badge to your t-shirt, to your shirt. Conscientious. Not people are so conscientious to give up using plastic. Cut out. Yeah. And not all people can cut out plastic from their lives, cut down on. But it is possible to cut down on the use of plastic. Or, for example, I was able to cut down on sugar. First, I stopped eating all this breads, cakes, buns with some sugar, and of course some sweets and chocolate, and I just ate the can I say sugar sand? Sand. But now I cut down on sugar almost completely, and I eat only halwa, which is the combination of seeds from the sunflower and sugar. So graphene, it's a new material which won't be used for a long time because I believe its production is too expensive compared to plastic. Diagnosis. Okay, I have I have difficulty recalling how to pronounce this correctly because I never heard it. But in Russian we say like diagnosis, and the stress goes on A, and in English it's diagnosis. So I need to switch my brain to pronounce this correctly. Discard. Yeah, like people usually people don't discard the plastic cards they don't use. They just carry them in their pockets, in the wallets. Donor of the blood, surface of the lake, elastic. So let's say some elastic. Rubber is elastic material because you can stretch it and then it returns back to its original form. Give off some what's this smell. In the lesson it was some wastes gave off toxic fumes, but we can say if you have some soup made of cabbage and you keep it for 2 weeks out of the fridge, it starts to give off some not very pleasant smell. Get on with something. So get on with something. Progress, continue. And get on with somebody. Get along, like I believe that in the normal family, the brother should get along with his sister. No, not should get along, but should get on with his sister. This is the phrasal verb. But get on with something. I can't really say the example. Maybe progress, continue. After his vacations, he gets on with studying his English, or just with his English. Put off. Yeah, this is a really new word that I learned. It was the postpone word in more formal sense, but let's just I wanted to practice playing some shooter game to be able to kill the enemies, the computer bots, quite effectively, so that I could get the satisfaction from the game. Of course, I can't reach some high level, but I can really progress with this if I spend enough time in this activity. But for now, I decided to put it off because I need this time to improve my English, for example. Yeah, milk goes off, or give up. Yeah, give up using something. Like I almost completely gave up using sugar, eating sugar, consuming sugar. Yeah, I almost completely gave up consuming sugar. And the milk goes off. So if you keep your milk out of the fridge for 2, maybe 3 days, it really goes off and it's impossible to drink it. It may turn into some sour dairy product and it will be cool, or it just can become completely spoiled and you need to throw it away. Next, infrequently. Infrequently means not very frequent. Plastic is a plastic, okay. Look up something in the dictionary, right? Right, yeah. I just didn't meet. I haven't met this word for a long time, so I have forgotten that look up. Well, it was kind of a nature for me that look up was the word for search. Look up a word in the dictionary. Be keen to means want to. He is keen to what? Prepare some lecture in English and speak it to his friend and tell it to his friends. Torch is an interesting thing. Usually in the world of fantasy, a torch is this stuff, some piece of wood or just a stick, and one end of this stick is covered in the special cloth or material, so when you lit up this end with some fire, this cloth, this material catches the fire, and you can use this torch like a huge candle. And especially in Oblivion fantasy game, you use this torch to go through the dungeons, because otherwise it's too dark and you can't see anything. But in British language, the torch is a flashlight. A flashlight is kind of a standard name in American English, so it's kind of interesting. On balance, well, that's one interesting moment. I was looking up for the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy in the internet, and I downloaded several books, and in one book, this Arthur Dent went to the cellar where there was this bookcase, I think, with the writing "Beware of the Leopard" on the door. So he went to this cellar with a torch, but in the other book he went to the cellar with a flashlight, which means one book was the original British book and another book was the American edition of this book. The same way, I believe the English book, first book of Harry Potter series, was Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, but in America it was published as Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Sorcerer's Stone, okay. Next, on balance. I can't really say the example, let's check the... Okay. It means in the economical sense, it means that on balance, it was a good book. On balance, when all the calculations of I don't know, debits and credits, or maybe liabilities, I don't remember this now, actives, liabilities and What is liabilities? Are they passives or are they actives? Anyway, after all the liabilities were calculated, we have the result, which is on balance. So on balance, it was a good story. Set out, I think, yeah, set out. Set out, want something, want to do something. Set out. Press on with, continue to do with some activity, even though it's kind of difficult. It's just continue, okay. Reluctant, unwilling. So, I don't remember the particular example, like, it's the usual story in the world of business or something, when one person approaches another person, let's say when the yoga instructor approached Sting, the singer, with the idea to spend some time on meditations, because they had this yoga lessons. Sting said, okay, Sting was reluctant in the beginning because he believed he had no time for the meditation. But the yoga instructor persuaded him that if he finds like about 15, maybe 30 minutes on the meditation, he will become more productive and he will do more during his day. And in the end, it was true. Yoga, ability, and yoga Sting. Next, rigid. Rigid means more hard to bend, so I can't really say. Okay, plastic may be quite rigid, like in the tables and chairs, and you can use them, they won't break, you won't fall, and so on. Set off means start a journey. Yeah, so it's like hobbits set off, not at once, but on some April morning, let's say in some April morning. That's a good question. In some April morning, the hobbits set off on that journey. I am not sure how to really create the necessary sentence. Next, take on. It's like when you listen to or when you speak to a particular person for a long time, you take on his or her qualities. Utilize means use. I'm not sure how can I use this. I'll try to utilize my new words in some conversation. The versatile means having lots of plastic is a very versatile material. It has lots of different qualities and it can be used in many different applications. Wardrobe in this particular context means the set of clothes that you have that you have at home, which you can put on during the year, for example, on course. I remember this, something like, but I don't remember the usage. When after some difficulties they reached the necessary results, they proved that they were all this time on course. Next we have the minute of the meeting. The minutes of the meeting. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. It's not from Navigate, but when I heard this stuff, I thought it was about like the time period, but the minutes is more like protocol or some notes from which are made during the meeting, the outline of the meeting. No, the notes about the meeting. In earnest and earnestly, to be very sincere and serious. Earnestly. I don't like this situation at all. Or in earnest, he was, I am not sure how to say this, he meant this in earnest, maybe. What he said, he meant in earnest. Build on to develop. So we build on the success of our previous members, for example, or in the successful nation, the new generations build on the success, the experience of the previous generations, as neither sides would compromise. As neither sides would compromise. As neither sides would compromise. And neither sides would compromise. Okay, yeah, this is the special usage of this stuff. Like wouldn't. It's not necessary about the future in the past or subjunctive mode. It can be. I'm not sure of what tense, but it means that somebody refuses. Like the father said his son to do something, but he wouldn't do it, which means he didn't want to do it. Maybe it's used only in the past, but it means not something about the future in the past or a subjunctive mode. It means a strong desire to refuse to do something. And when these, let me check this very quickly. Lens. Oh, really? Lens is the piece of glass which is put into the binocular, into the glasses, and which helps you to improve your vision. But so I thought we say lens, but we say lens. That's why the plural is lenses. And finally, rush job is something which you need to perform very quickly because you have this urgency in accomplishing this job right here and right now. Okay, so it was almost an hour of talking, and I think that's enough for now. It really takes lots of time just to go through the words from a particular unit which I wrote down some time in the past, because I don't just read through the words. I try, well, in this particular case, I try to give the definitions or the synonyms. I'm not really trying to give the example of the usage, and it's a little bit difficult. But I like this particular form of going through the words. Now I'm reading through the this Navigate one level unit 8, and I read through the words of the unit and through the words of the tape scripts for this unit, and just highlight the words which are kind of new and natural for me, which I don't know how to pronounce or how to translate them. So, and I'm going to continue with this type of activity with the Navigate. Yeah, and I think that's enough for today, and it was vlog 98, which means I have only 2 vlogs to reach my initial goal, or maybe ultimate goal, eventual goal of 100 videos. And I thought about stopping with these videos because it takes some time for me during the weekend. Even 1 hour is quite a big effort for me. But as I can reach another level, first of all, I can continue with these words for the units of Navigate, and second, I can talk not just on some random thoughts which created the problem in the beginning, because it was hard for me to find the topic to talk to for the whole hour. I talked about the books, the anime, the movies, the manga, and the stuff. And right now I can get the information during the week on some particular topic, like Australia, for example, geography of Australia, economy of Australia, the animal world, and maybe even of the history. And then I can write down some proper names, some dates, and using this I don't know, outline maybe. Let's check this word again. Not again, but here, outline. Is this the short something, a description of the main facts or points involved in something? Yeah. Then you can see the dim outline of the island. Okay, this sounds, you need a written outline of the history of the story. Okay, this sounds quite correctly. So I will have a very short, very concise outline of the facts on Australia, and using it I will try to give this lecture to myself during half an hour, and then I'll do the words from the next unit of Navigate, which I'll start to read through by the next weekend. So this was vlog 98, and that's all for today.